I'm making this video mainly for myself because I know not everybody cares about what the F I'm reading. But I wanted to do a June, it's July already, it's July 3rd. I wanted to do a June wrap up of all the books I read. And it was a lot. It was actually, I'm gonna count 14 total because it's already the 3rd and I finished 2 books the last 3 days. So I'm gonna count them as a June because I finished them. But 14 books, which is a lot for me ever. I barely started reading again this year. In January is when I started reading again. And I'm loving it. Really quick, the books that I started reading were the A Court of Thorns and Roses books. So I read all 5 of them, and then I moved along to Crescent City, and then I jumped into dark romance with Haunting and Hunting Adeline, and yeah, I think those are the ones I've read in the beginning of the year, yeah. So a lot. I jumped around a lot. But anyways, let's get into the ones. I made little review mood board things for my stories. So if you're here from my Instagram, you've already seen it on my story. But I wanted to post it right here on the side whenever I talk about it because I made it and I'm very proud of it. And yeah, so I mainly use to read my iPad because I use the Kindle app, physical books, and then my Nook, which is the Barnes & Noble Kindle, which I do love, but I do read on Kindle a lot, so I use my iPad a lot because a lot of these were on there. And physical books have been hard for me to get into, but I have gotten into physical books. I'm rereading this one, which I'll get to why. But yeah, we'll start with the one night novella and then Pucking Around. The one night novella, it comes before the Pucking Around because then you get the story of one of the 2 main characters. And this was right after I read Haunting and Hunting. And that was a dark romance. So this one is more light. And I honestly didn't know what to expect because I read nothing about it. I just jumped in and I didn't know it was a I knew it was like a why choose, but I didn't know it was like a polyamorous relationship. So that was surprising, which in a good way, it wasn't a bad thing, but I was like, what is going on? I'm so confused. But it was so good. I enjoyed the one night novella because you got the story behind what's going on in the Pucking Around, but each one of her relationships with each man are so special, and I felt that. And honestly, good for her because it's hard finding one good man, let alone 4 of them. How many did she have? 4 of them? Yeah, but I really enjoyed that book. Really enjoyed those books. And then I read King of Wrath, which I'm rereading again because I read the Twisted series and I had no idea they mentioned each other. So because I bought this first, so I read King of Wrath. I really enjoyed it. I'm rereading it again. That's how much I enjoyed it. I really like Anna as an author. Everything she's written so far I've enjoyed very much so. So I read King of Pride right after, and I read that on the Kindle app because I didn't have the physical book for that. And then I buddy read with my best friend The Cruel Prince. That was a hard to get into book. I think 50 pages in I was like, get to the point. But I get fantasy books, usually it builds up, you need to build the world or whatever. I still haven't read the 2nd book of that. That's on my TBR for this month actually. So, but once I got to it, I really enjoyed it. It is mostly fantasy. A lot of people say it's romance. Romance to me is there's, those scenes. There was a huge kiss, I would say, but there wasn't any scenes that I was like, oh my god, the spice. It wasn't spicy. There was no spice in it at all. which is, I mean, granted, it is a fantasy book, and I really did like it, so I am looking forward to the second one. Then I went to Bonded by Thorns, also a fantasy book, but this one is spicy. Not as spicy as the second book, which I'll get to right now, but there is a lot more spice, I would say, than in The Cruel Prince. There's definitely, so this one is also a white choose. She, it's like Beauty and the Beast, but there's like 4 beasts and then 1 cruel prince. Get it? Cause yeah, no, not funny. There's 1 prince of the underworld or whatever. I don't know. I forgot what they called it, but she doesn't get to choose between the 4 princes. She can have 4 of them if she wants to. Obviously, this is, you can hear my dog, right? Henry, I'm gonna need you to be quiet. She doesn't get them all in this book. So this is, I know there's going to be multiple books. So this is like introducing you to all the characters. But it is really good. Like, I could not put this down. I read, usually it gets me a long time to get through physical books. But this one I read like in a day, literally. Maybe it do take 2 days. 24 hours for sure. Within a 24-hour frame. And then I immediately went to the second one, which is also on the Kindle app. If you have Kindle Unlimited, I have Kindle Unlimited. It's on the Kindle Unlimited. So I immediately went to the second one, which is Woven by Gold. This was Bonded by Thorns. And then Woven by Gold, which I really enjoyed. It was really good. A little bit more spicy than the first one. You know, fated mates, all that good stuff that I love so much. I really love those books. I really love those books. And then I got into Mile High and The Right Move by Liz Tomford. Mile High is the first one. The Right Move is the second one. So Mile High. I'm very bad at explaining what it. I'm drawing a blank, but it's about a flight attendant and a hockey player, right? And they fall in love, and it's really cute, and I really enjoyed it. And then she has a famous basketball player brother who is the one that in The Right Move and they get with, and he falls in love with her best friend, and it's this whole cute intermingling, and you get in The Right Move, you get to know more of what happens in their relationship from the Mile High. So I really liked how it like intertwined, which I like that. I like that. It's like a totally different book, but there's still elements from the first one, which I love. And they're romance. These are all gonna be romance or fantasies, that's for sure, because that's what I like. And then I got into My Dark Romeo. This one, I loved Romeo. Romeo, I love so much. The girl, though, I feel like she should have been a little bit older. I didn't like how young she was for him because he's in his 30s and she was like young, like a teenager. I think she was like 19. And I'm like, that's the only thing I didn't like. I didn't like the age gap. I don't like the age gap unless he's like 500 years old and she's like in her 20s. That's okay because he's 500. I don't know why my brain does that, but if he's in his 30s and she's like not even 20 yet, she can't even drink. No, just kidding. I think she was 21. Now that I think of it. I think he was 31 and 21. I don't know what I'm talking about. Who else was 19? I don't know. That's what I get for having ADHD, because now going back, I'm like, this is why I have to reread sometimes. Reread what I'm reading, because I tend to, whatever, forget what I'm talking about. And then I read the Twisted series, this by Anna Huang. I don't want to mess that up. So I read Twisted Love, Twisted Games, Twisted Hate, and then Twisted Lies. And that's when I was like, in Twisted Hate, you meet Dante, which is from King of Wrath. And I was like, oh my god, he's from King of Wrath, because I already freaking read it. And then again, he shows up in Twisted Lies because he's Christian's best friend. So Twisted Love is about Ava and Alex, right? Wait, I don't want to get the names mixed up. What is this girl's name? what is this girl's name? I forgot. Vivian. Yeah, I think it's Ava and Alex, which was super cute. It's probably my favorite love story of all the 4 ones. Mainly because he really had to put in work at the end. He really had to, what they call grovel or whatever, for like a year before he got her back. So I really like that. Like, make him work for it, you know what I mean? And then it was Bridget and Reese, which is the princess and the bodyguard, which was really cute. It reminded me of the Princess Diaries. You know, obviously she becomes a queen and all of that. Really Princess Diary vibes, except she falls in love with her bodyguard instead of another, you know. Who does she fall in love with? Princess Diaries too? I don't remember. Probably like next in line to the throne or whatever, but that's still really weird because I feel like that's too close to like possibly being relatives. But anyways, the bodyguard was really cute. Not a lot of spice. So we're gonna go to Twisted Hate because there was so much spice in that. That was probably my favorite spice-wise. You know, friend with benefits type thing. So that's my favorite. And then they fall in love. You know, usual. And that was Alex, which is not Alex. That was Josh, which is Ava's brother. So like they all intermingle together and you still get to learn more about what the other couples are doing, which I really like because you're like, oh, it just ended like that. Like, I want to know, did they get married? And blah, 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 you know, so like they got engaged, blah, 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 whatever. And then Twisted Lies, I really, really enjoyed that one because, you know, the whole stalkerish element to it. Like, oh, you know so much about me. And then obviously, I think he was the most hard-headed out of all of them. I feel like they all immediately had a soft spot for her. I feel like he's always had a soft spot for her, but he was more like pushing her away for too long. But when the spice came, it was spicy. And then, obviously, I'm reading King of Wrath again because of the Twisted series books. And I know she has another 4-book series before that, which I do want to read because it intermingles. Like, she introduces some character for the next series, which is really, this is supposed to be like 7 books series. So yeah. Ooh. Yeah. So those are the 14 books I read in the month of June and a little bit of July because it's already July 3rd. And I don't know what I'm going to read in July, but I do want to read the 2nd book of The Cruel Prince, which is The Wicked King. I want to read The Ritual because it's another dark romance. And then I want to get into another fantasy book, which I have on my list, is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. And then the 2nd book of that, which is The Ashes and the Sea Curse King. There's only 2 books of that, I believe, so I want to read right after the other. But I have a lot of books that I want to read and get to, so we'll see. Because June was easy to get 14 books in because I wasn't working and I wasn't doing shit except reading. Like, it was my full-on, that's all I did all month. And mainly because this month, next week, I will start working again, so I won't have that much time to read as much as I've been, reading and enjoying it and stuff like that. So this is random and a little bit of a tangent because I don't know who else to talk to about my books except my best friend, because when we're reading them together. But if we're not reading them together, I have so many thoughts and I'm like, freak. I don't know. This was like short and like, oh, this is what I read and a little bit about them, because I didn't really get too much detail because I could literally talk for hours about it. But I do want to read less books and have more time to talk about it. So I do want to do when I'm like the end of July, the books that I read again. So hopefully, like I said, this is more for me than it is for whoever's watching this. So if you're watching this, cool, thank you. But this is I'm doing this for me because now I can just talk to myself about the books that I read and all the thoughts I have. But it was a good reading month. I really, really love it. here's my little nook again. I got these stickers from Probably Smut. So Probably Smut is all on their social media, and it's really cute. It says, read whatever the fuck you want, villains have my heart, give me smut, give me death. You know, I do want to make a full video of the Bonded series in December, because the third book is coming out in December, so I want to talk about it more in depth and like the theories I wrote down and if they came true or not, because yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Bye.